What up? This is KMT the Ra, and welcome back to another KMT Productions video. So before we get started, I'm going to ask that you guys go ahead and hit that like button down below. It does help out with the YouTube algorithm so that these videos get more visibility. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of this content coming here in the near future. Because like I've said in all my other videos, trying to build a community of like-minded individuals, skills, and information so that we can share that amongst each other and, actually get some stuff built. All right. So today, the topic that we're going to be talking about is stocks and bonds. So we're going to go ahead and start from the top like we always do. So much of the world's business activity would be pretty much impossible without stocks and bonds. Stocks and bonds are certificates that are sold to raise money for starting a new company or for expanding an existing company. Stocks and bonds are also called securities, and people who buy them are called investors. Stocks are certificates of ownership. A person who buys stock in a company becomes one of the company's owners. As an owner, the stockholder is eligible to receive a dividend, which is a share of the company's profit. The amount of the dividend may change from year to year, depending on the company's performance. Well-established companies try to pay stockholders as high a dividend as possible. There are two types of stock. There's common stock and preferred stock. Owners of common stock may vote for a company's directors and attend annual stockholder meetings. At these meetings, they have a chance to review the company's yearly performance and its future plans, and kind of to present their own ideas as well. Owners of preferred stock do not usually have voting rights or the right to attend stockholder meetings. They do, however, have priority when dividends are paid. The dividends of preferred stock are paid according to a set rate, while the dividends of common stock fluctuate according to the company's performance. If the company does well, however, preferred stocks do not usually gain in value as much as common stocks. If a company goes out of business, preferred stockholders are paid off first. Bonds are certificates that promise to pay a fixed rate of interest. A person who buys a bond isn't buying ownership of the company, but they're lending the company money. So the bond is the company's promise to repay that money at the end of a certain time, such as 10, 15, or even 20 years. In return for lending the company money, the bondholder is paid interest at regular interval. The interest rate is based on general interest rates in effect at the time that the bonds are issued, as well as on the company's financial strength. Bonds generally pay more than stocks do, and they're usually considered a safer investment. If a company goes bankrupt, bondholders are paid before both preferred and common stockholders. Local, state, and national governments also issue bonds to help pay for various projects, such as roads or schools. The interest the bondholder receives from state and local bonds, also called municipal bonds, is usually exempt from taxes. Really good stuff, right? So let's go into a brief history of stocks and bonds. So, the trading of goods began in the earliest civilizations. So early merchants combined their money to outfit shops and caravans to take goods to faraway countries. Some of these merchants organized into trading groups. For thousands of years, trade was conducted either by these groups or by individual traders. During the Middle Ages, merchants began to gather at annual town fairs where goods from many countries were displayed and traded. Some of these fairs became permanent year-round events. With merchants from many countries trading at these fairs, it became necessary to establish a money exchange, or bourse, to handle the financial transactions. Bourse is a French word meaning purse. One important annual fair took place in the city of Antwerp in present-day Belgium. By the end of the 1400s, the city became the center for international trade. A variety of financial activities took place there. Many merchants speculated, that is, they bought goods for certain prices and hoped that the prices would rise later so that they can make profits when they sold the goods later. Wealthy merchants or money lenders also lent money at high rates of interest to people who needed to borrow it. They then sold bonds backed by these loans and paid the interest to the people who bought them. So a real history of modern-day stocks began in Amsterdam in the 1600s. In 1602, the Dutch East Asia Company was formed there. This company, which was made up of merchants competing for trade in Asia, was given power to take full control of the spice trade. To raise money, the company sold shares of stock and paid dividends. In 1611, the Amsterdam Stock Exchange was set up, and trading in Dutch East Asia Company shares was the main activity there for many years. Similar companies were soon established in other countries. The excitement over these new companies made many investments foolhardy. They bought shares in any company that came on the market, and few bothered to investigate the companies in which they were investing. The result was financial instability. So, in 1720, financial panic struck in France, when after a rush of buying and selling, stockholders became frightened and tried to sell their stocks. With everyone trying to sell and no one buying, the market crashed. In England, a financial scandal known as the South Sea Bubble took place a few months later. The South Sea Company had been set up in 1710 to trade with Spanish South America. The The proposed size of the company profits was exaggerated, and the value of its stocks rose very high. These high stock prices encouraged the formation of other companies, many of which promoted far-fetched schemes. In September of 1720, the South Sea stockholders, say that 5 times fast, lost faith in the company and began to sell their shares. Stockholders of other companies began to do the same, and the market crashed as it did in France. These companies became known as bubble companies because their stock was often as empty and worthless as a bubble, and the companies collapsed and burst like bubbles. Even though the fall of bubble companies made investors wary, investing had become an established idea. The French stock market, the Paris Bourse, was set up in 1724, and the English stock market was established in 1773. In the 1800s, the rapid industrial growth that accompanied the Industrial Revolution helped stimulate stock markets everywhere. By investing in new companies or inventions, some people made and lost huge fortunes. For many years, the main buying and selling of stocks was done by a few wealthy individuals. It wasn't until after World War I that the increasing numbers of small investors began to invest in the stock market. There was a huge rise in speculative stock trading during the 1920s, and many people made fortunes. However, the Roaring Twenties came to an abrupt end in October of 1929, when stock markets crashed and fortunes were wiped out overnight. Crash was followed by the Great Depression of the 1930s, a period of severe economic crisis throughout much of the world. Since the end of World War II, small investors have begun investing again in stocks. The stock markets have been relatively stable since then. A sharp fall in prices in 1987 led to another stock market crash. So initially, this frightened many people away from stock investing. But within a few months, the market recovered and investor confidence returned. Today, the largest, most important stock exchanges are the New York Stock Exchange, the London Stock Exchange, and the Tokyo Stock Exchange. These exchanges act as a marketplace for the buying and selling of stocks. Another important source of stock transactions is the NASDAQ system. NASDAQ, which stands for National Association of Security Dealers Automated Quotations, it's a crazy acronym, allows stock transactions to be made over computer terminals simultaneously in many cities around the world. Thousands of stocks are now traded over the NASDAQ system. So that's going to be pretty much it for this video here today. If you guys like what you saw here in the video, make sure to leave a like and a comment down below. If you have any suggestions for any topics you may want me to cover here on this channel, make sure to leave that in the comments down below as well. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and make sure that bell notification icon is turned on so that you can always know when I'm uploading new content. And yeah, like I said before at the beginning, trying to build up this community, so I need your guys' help with that. So also what would help with that is if you like this video, share this on any one of the social media platforms that you may be watching this on, or just tell your friends about it, give them a link to the page, and yeah, then we can start to see some growth happening on this channel. But with that, like I said, this is pretty much just a brief overview of what stocks and bonds are. I actually have more content specifically on stocks and bonds already ready to go, but I want to do like a rotation of different ideas, and then I'll come back and then go more in depth on stocks and bonds, and then credit and cryptocurrency and all these other subjects, because they are very complex once you start to get into the nitty-gritty on how to actually be able to apply them to your life. But yes, once again, thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate everybody who came through and is going to be commenting on the video. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.